The coalition of opposition parties yesterday continued their search for the platform to use in its efforts to realize its objective of defeating President Bola Tinubu and the All Progressives Congress (APC) in the 2027 general election. Barring any last-minute change, the coalition is expected to make a significant announcement this week. Feelers from the parties involved, however, indicated that a consensus is yet to be reached on two key issues: the format and platform. Those who attended yesterday's meeting included former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, 2023 presidential candidate of the Labour Party, LP, Mr. Peter Obi, former Rivers State Governor, Mr. Rotimi Amaechi, former Secretary to the Government of the Federation, SGF, Mr. Babakir Lawal, former Osun State Governor, Ogbeni Ralph Arigbesala, who sent a representative. Others are Chairman of the PDP Board of Trustees, Senator Adolphus Wabra, former Cross River State Governor, Mr. Donald Duke, former Information Minister, Professor Jerry Ghana, and some northern stakeholders. In continuation of his consultations with stakeholders, Obi met with a cross-section of northern leaders under the aegis of the National Political Consultative Group in Abuja. Elders. He explained to the gathering that northern Nigeria was the future huge asset of the country. At the meeting, which had former Vice President Atiku Abubakar as part of the audience, Obi described the issue of crime and insecurity in the north as a byproduct of poverty. His words: "The North has voted for religion and tribe in the past. This is the time to vote for something else, a time to consider competence and capacity." Please watch and let me know what you think. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel.
I've maintained, and I still maintain, the insecurity in Nigeria, especially in the north, rests on poverty. The rest of all that has been mentioned and everything. I've been in the financial industry for years, and I can tell anybody this, you can go and verify this in this country. I was in the financial industry. When you look for cash, you go to Kano. When you look for cash, you know that place. Kano was #1 place for cash, because then we had all the factories in Bombay, in Sharadan, in Sharadan. Go to Kano today, those industries are not there. Go to Kaduna, there's no industry. There's no industry again in Kaduna. We used to put Kaduna Trade Fair 2 years for it to get the space. Today nobody goes there. We used to go to Meduguri for cash. Today nobody goes there. That is the poverty. And when you have poverty, you have criminality that you cannot control. Because when people don't know where the next thing will come from, you can never control your action. And they're easy recruit. But in all these, it all rests squarely on governance, on government to solve. And I've always said the North can change Nigeria. The greatest asset of this country is in the North. We can make more money, I say it every year, we can make more money from farm agriculture than we make from oil. And I'm starting to prove in everything. This entire country produces less than 6 million tons of rice. That is less than 10% of what Bangladesh produces. Bangladesh is a country that lives on 148,600 square kilometers of land. That is the size of 2 northern states. Naija at 76.3 and Borno at 70.8 is equal to Bangladesh. And Bangladesh has a population of 170 million. So if you divide their 146 by this thing, it's less than about 800 square meters, when these two states have over 13,000 square meters. It's a huge land. Niger State as most arable land in this country cannot feed itself. It's 76.3 thousand square kilometers. They are not exporting anything. Netherlands, with 33,000 square kilometers. So Niger State is 2.5 times size of Netherlands. Yet, they exported 124 billion euros, about over $130 billion of agricultural export. That is exactly 2.5 times what we get from oil. One state. The story is the same everywhere. So the solution is in the north. Look at a state like Taraba. Taraba can produce all the tea and coffee we need at the parks of Mambila. Taraba is 54.4 thousand square kilometers. Sierra Leone, that is making all their money from tea today, is 65,000 square kilometers. If you divide it by the population, Taraba is 3 times, if not more than that, of that size. And they make $1.5 to $2 billion from tea. And all these states are driving around the north and I feel pain. This year I've been to Kafanchan, to Kaduna, to Katsina, to Jigawa, all these are by road. And you see loads of uncultivated land. Go to Morocco and travel from Casablanca to part of Niger on both sides, and you see the difference. We can change the north. Agricultural land that is in the north is dead. Why do we have to do root budget where we are doing a road for 15 trillion? Why don't we use 1.3? If you put 1.5 trillion on insecurity in the north today, we'll start dealing with it. We can capitalize that bank with 1 trillion, and if we put another 1.3 trillion in poverty alleviation, one of the governors in the north told me he wanted to do small poverty alleviation, and he went to Bank of the North, Bank of Industry, and gave them 2 billion, and over 2 years, they cannot even put their own counterpart fund. We can solve it. The more you put people out of poverty, the more you solve insecurity. I've been to prisons, I've been to places to see what is happening. We need to change it. It is very easy. We need to invest in education. We can't talk about free universal education when people are not going to school and children are not in school. I have taken time to go to the north, sat down with our Nigerian children. They are the most brilliant people God created. Because I could see children in 9 years and 10 years memorizing Quran. If they can't go to school, we'll take school to them. Where they are learning Quran, they can learn English, they can learn mathematics, they can learn it. It's very easy. And we are doing it in Kaduna and it's working. I went to one in Kaduna, I visited there with my brother that when they provided them, I'm paying their teachers now, provided them toilets, provided them everything. If you see the kids, they are changing. Let's invest in them. That's our assets. That's the assets we need. That's the doctors we need. We have a great country that can be changed if our leaders can change the human being, invest in humanity. It is very easy, it's not a difficult thing. And all I plead with all of us, like keynote speakers, is for us to build trust. I know we have issues here and there and everything. This is the time for us to build trust among ourselves, believe that we are one, and we can save this country. Countries that survive by population. This is time to remove our division. We have all tried, we voted religion. Let's vote competence. It is time to start voting. Let's vote capacity and competence and everything. Let's make this work. It can work. There's people who, let's hold our leaders responsible. This time you claim is about 600,000 square kilometers. The entire north is about 20% more than Ukraine. And they are poor, they are giving us Ukraine to support us for nothing. do that, it is unfair to us. Like I said before, Bangladesh produces about 50 to 60 million tons of rice. Nigeria cannot produce 10% of that. The entire Nigeria is 6 times the size of Bangladesh. They are 148, we are 940. You can go on and on. Small states like Vietnam that came out of war can feed itself and export food. 5 states of the north, Vietnam is 300,000. 5 states of the north, Naija, Boronu, Taraba, Kaduna, and Bauchi is about 300,000 square kilometers. That's what Vietnam is. And today Vietnam does 10 times our export. My dear people, our problem can be solved from the north. When we focus and invest in the north, what the north requires is investment, support, policies that can drive it, and it is doable. And this is something you can see changing as we start. Thank you and God bless you.